Am I the asshole for stealing my sister's horse? I 20F started online side hustles 1 year ago, and I have made a pretty good income since. My sister always wanted to have a horse, and I also loved horses. I bought one for myself about 6 months ago. I called her Raina, and I have to admit I don't always go horse riding. I told my sister 22F she could ride whenever she wanted, and she started taking lessons on her. My sister loved Raina. At one point she tried changing her name, but I did not allow it. After a while she started calling her my horse, and she would frequently invite friends to ride her. I would hear it from the stable owner. I didn't think much of it until recently. My sister came to me and said she wanted to move Raina to another stable. I asked her why, and she said she wanted Raina in the same stable as her friend's horse. I didn't like the idea, but after all she is frequently riding on Raina, and the other stable is also closer to home, so I said sure. Then she said she had already arranged everything because she knew I'd say yes. I got annoyed but just let it slide. So last week I went to visit Raina and wanted to ride. Turns out my sister also wanted to do horse riding. I haven't been on Raina for 2 months or so, while my sister rides like 3/4 times a week. I told my sister that I only have time that day and said she could rent a horse for that one lesson on my costs. She then told me that I should just get off of her horse and rent one for myself if I want to ride that bad. We got in an argument and she literally yelled at me for everything. She said that I am a bad sister, that I don't care about her, that I am a brat and I don't deserve anything. Now our relationship always has been bad and she has always had anger issues, but this reaction really pissed me off. I told her that Raina was not her horse in any sense. I pay for all her expenses. I paid for the horse and my name is the name on Raina's passport. I told her that from now on she is not allowed to ride Raina, and she can either buy herself a horse or rent one, but she needs to stay away from mine. My sister kept yelling and said that I am stealing her horse and that Raina doesn't even know me. She said that I am the worst sister ever and told our parents. My parents think that I am right, but that I am overreacting because my sister has always had anger issues. They are saying that my sister really loves horse riding and she loves Raina. I told them she should have thought about that before disrespecting me. So AITA? Update: I see a lot of people who actually think I ride her once in 2 months. That is not true. I used to visit her 1 to 3 times a week, but those 2 months I have been very busy. The first month I was with her really often to create a bond, and Raina knows that I am her owner. When she saw me she was really happy and did not go to my sister, but she came to me. So she definitely knows who her owner is. Besides, get my ass off? I have explained this in so many comments. I have been busy with work and didn't even have enough time to sleep. I love my horse and I always try to visit her, but in the last 2 months I did not have any time. My life has been full with work and study. I had to travel a lot for work as well to meet new clients or projects, etc. I have been doing schoolwork on airplanes. I have been working my ass off to keep up with this life, and I pay thousands of dollars for Raina to be taken care of. Raina is being exercised multiple times a week and is definitely taken care of in the best way possible. Story 2. Am I the asshole for cursing at my niece when she went into my office, when I specifically told her it was off limits to guests? My 28M sister, 33F, is visiting me this week with her daughter / my niece, 13F. I was excited to host them in my house as I haven't really seen my family much ever since I moved away from our home state for my career. For context, I'm a lawyer at a large firm. That means that I have to take work home often, which is why I have a room in my house set up as an office. My office has privileged information about cases and clients. Long story short, when my sister and niece arrived yesterday and after I helped them get settled in, I told them that there's only one rule that I have for staying in my house: my office is off limits. Fast forward a few hours and everything's fine and dandy. I'm just sitting on the couch with my sister, watching a movie, until I get a call from a senior associate at work asking me to do a quick review of a document that he sent me via email. When I get upstairs, I see the door to my office is wide open and the lights are on. When I go in to investigate, My niece is in there sitting in my chair and taking selfies with her feet on my desk. I was beyond furious. I only have one rule for guests at my house, and it's to stay out of my office. I have that rule for a reason. Not only would I be at risk of disbarment, but the integrity of the entire case would be jeopardized if any of that information is leaked. While I'm not accusing her of that specifically, I just don't want uninvolved people in my office taking pictures and posting them on social media where there may or may not be protected information in view of the camera. I asked her what the hell she was doing, and she said, "I was just curious. I want to be a lawyer like you when I grow up." I told her, "Get the fuck out and stay out, you little bitch." My sister came running up the stairs after my niece started crying, and she told me that I was a monster for talking like that to a kid. I told her that she had no business being in my office, and my sister said that it doesn't matter because she's just a kid. So, am I the asshole? Story 2. Am I the asshole for telling stepdaughter she had to start cooking all meals when she visits? I have a 19-year-old stepdaughter, Molly. She attends college 2.5 hours away and visits us a few times a month for 2 to 3 days at a time. For the most part, she's pretty good, and I do love her and enjoy planning activities and outings when she's here. For the past 6 months or so, Molly has become extremely picky about the food my husband or I cook, but not any other food. She will try a dish, take one bite, and if she doesn't like it, throw it in the trash. I mean, throw the entire dish in the trash, not just the bite she tried. For I'll make a homemade lasagna that she's had many times before. She takes a bite, decides it's not to her liking, and immediately tosses the entire pan into the garbage. This always happens when neither myself or my husband are in the kitchen with her. We've both asked Molly why does she throw the food out, and it's always the same response: it wasn't any good and she can't eat it. We've asked her to please stop throwing away entire dishes, because we will eat them, and she says she doesn't want to even look at it anymore. As far as we know, Molly only does this with us. I finally told Molly and my husband. He agreed with me. The next time she tosses a dish either of us has made, she will assume full cooking responsibilities when she's here. That way whatever is made will be to her liking. It happened again, and I stuck by what I had said. Molly got upset and went to her mom's, 30 minutes away, because her time with us or her mom is supposed to be fun and relaxing, not having to do chores. Molly's mom called my husband in a rage, screaming how we are treating Molly unfairly. She's a child, and it's not that hard to just fix a different meal to make her happy, and accusing us of emotional and mental abuse. Molly's mom does not cook, so they either go out or order food for all of their meals. Molly is currently refusing to visit unless I apologize to her and agree she can do what she wants with the food. My husband misses his daughter, but he's siding with me on this, saying Molly has been wasteful and disrespectful of our cooking and hospitality. We never cook anything we know she dislikes. When she's here we tend to make dishes that she's always enjoyed before and ask for her input and suggestions, but she says she doesn't care what we make. I feel bad because I know this is hurting my husband and I do miss Molly, plus I want her to spend time with us and have a good time doing so. Ida? ETA, for everyone asking if Molly is pregnant, no, she is not. Molly is very, very openly lesbian. She likes vaginas, only vaginas. ETA 2, this only happens at our house. When we go out or order food, she happily finishes her meal, gets dessert, and often finishes my food, too, which I absolutely don't mind. ETA 3, Molly is 19. She's not a minor. Nobody can force her into any sort of therapy without her consent and willingness to go. Story 4. Am I the asshole for telling my bridal client that the venue was double booked? I, 29F, and my business partner, 34F, run a wedding planning and coordination business. For context, we have several different packages, but it breaks down to basically A. We plan your wedding start to finish, or B. You plan your wedding and we are there on the day of to execute the timeline, coordinate vendors, etc., 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 to make sure the day runs smoothly and you have no stress. Here's what happened with one of our Package B clients. The ceremony begins at 6 p.m. in a different area on the same property, and the bride was told that not only would she be the only wedding in the room that she booked on that day, but that because she was the only wedding in that room that day she would also be able to go in there prior to her ceremony to take photos, as all vendors had ample time to complete the room setup. Normally these photos would happen during cocktail hour, but she didn't want to miss out on them, so we were trying to accommodate her, and it should have been no issue, considering she was told that she was the only wedding that day. Yesterday, we received an email from the florist stating that they couldn't gain access to the reception room, according to the venue, until 5:45 p.m. as there is another wedding occurring in the same room and it ends at 5:45 p.m. Normally, this would be fine and we would simply rearrange timings and notify the vendors so that they can allocate additional personnel to account for a short setup time. So, we called the client and asked if she was aware of this. We understand now that she should have called the venue first to confirm this, however, it ended up being accurate so it wouldn't have made a difference. She was not and was incredibly upset. She and her father called the venue and, apparently, went off on them. The venue event specialist then called my partner and scolded her for telling the client, stating that telling her the week of her wedding was bad coordinating practice, and that we should have just let it go, and then hung up on her without letting her speak. After speaking with my partner about this phone call, I called the event specialist myself to get a feel for what was going on from his point of view. He gave me the same treatment, would not allow me to speak, and hung up on me. Immediately after we attempted to call the bride at 5:50 p.m., but she didn't answer. So, we sent her a text to please call us, which she also did not answer. An hour later, we sent another text to the group chat we have with her and her MOH, her sister, asking to please call us, but neither one of them has responded. It is now 12 p.m. the next day, and she still has not texted or called, and we're supposed to have our final call this evening. So, am I the asshole for telling her that she wouldn't be able to take photos in the reception room prior to her ceremony, because the venue booked another wedding during the day, and we wouldn't be able to have the room setup completed in time? Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.